But hello, I'm Dagger. I will be running Resident Evil HD Remaster on the PlayStation floor. And time will start in 3, 2, 1, go. So this is the HD remaster of the remake that came out on the GameCube of a game that was released in 1996 on the PlayStation 1.
Let's not forget about the director's cut with DualShock support.
Oh yeah, the one with the really terrible soundtrack?
Yep, that one.
Yeah, that one had a lot of bugs to it now, didn't it? Isn't the director's cut one the one that's going to be released on the PlayStation 1 Classic?
Is it?
Maybe?
I'd have to check. I mean, my handle is G-Virus. I'm kind of ashamed that I'm not aware.
Oh. So the first thing I want to do is de-equip my weapon, because you run at your fastest when you have no firearm equipped. This includes the knife as well, but we're not going to use the knife at all in this run. And what you would do casually here is usually go down this hallway and through that door that's just over there after talking to Barry. But we triggered a cutscene that kind of has Barry making fun of Jill for having cold feet, which procs the zombie to come to us instead of us going to them. It's also the only zombie in the Resident Evil series that closes the door for you. And we come back and find that our captain's missing, so we're just gonna quickly check the hall, and that was enough. So one of the techniques that you're going to be seeing quite a bit throughout the run is called stair skating. It's where you go up to the stairs and then you try to mash the action button as fast as you possibly can when you're doing tank controls. Zombie in this game can have like one of two patterns. When you get into a certain range, they will usually lunge at you. Sometimes they will just shamble exactly like that, so you have to pull them out a little bit and try to run around them instead of trying to go through them. Because this is one of the only Resident Evil games where you want to run at the zombies to get them to lunge at you so that you can run right through them. We're coming up in the cemetery, and it's probably one of my least favorite parts of the game, because you'll see why when I come back through here. One of the things that Capcom added in this game was examining items in order to get other items so that you can move forward. And you're going to see two back-to-back instances of that here in just a second. So we removed the arrow head from the arrow so we could open up the door, and the key was oddly stuck to the back of this book. This part up here can get a little bit dicey because that zombie could be, he was very nice to me this time. Many times he's just barely off that screen transition, and if you can't see him to get him to try to lunge at you, then you kind of have to YOLO him instead.
The real question here is, will he turn into a Jill sandwich?
Oh, no, 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 no. We're going to be skipping that cutscene, and the only time we're going to see Barry until the guardhouse is when he's going to give us the grenade launcher. Now that room is going to be in this hallway that we're coming into right now, but we're just going to run right past it because we do not use the shotgun for anything in this run. The grenade launcher is going to be our bread and butter for 4 boss fights. And I'm just picking up a bunch of random items that I'm not going to use just yet, but I will be using in a little bit. Since
All I'll point out is that you keep collecting herb sprouts, and now you've got fertilizer, so what's up with that?
Well, I don't really have herb sprouts, though. Hopefully, I will not collect any herbs because I don't want to heal. I want to heal as little as possible. But it's not fertilizer, it's actually plant killer. We'll be using that to get one of the death masks in the game to unlock the areas beyond Mansion 1.
You get I think it's Plant 42 the name? Project 42?
Yeah, Plant 42 is the boss we're going to fight in the guardhouse. But what we're going to be using on him are some incendiary rounds. It's kind of like a Plant 42 cousin, I guess, is probably the best way to putting it.
Huh. And we don't want any Crimson Heads, so I'm guessing you're avoiding all the zombies so they don't come back, because in this game you had to burn the bodies, right?
Yes. Or decapitate them.
Or, that's true.
There will be one Crimson Head that will spawn. It is kind of like the tutorial Crimson Head, we'll call it, I guess.
They just want to hug, man.
They do. And that zombie very recently has been giving me a lot of trouble because not only can zombies be in a lunge or a shamble pattern, they can also be in different spots from run to run. So he could be a little bit closer to me when I round out of that corner, in the middle of that hallway, facing me, facing away from me. So it's all about dealing with things, dealing with them. And one thing that was added in this game are defensive items. I'm picking up this dagger right here because the dogs have not been very good to me. And in my practice runs, I haven't really been getting great at quick shooting. And I'll try to explain quick shooting here in just a minute because this is gonna be the one enemy we're gonna kill with a handgun.
Gotcha.
He bit me. Not very good dogs. Oh my God. So since we took so much damage from the dogs, we're gonna go ahead and heal up. So it's unfortunate because if you do a knife only run, you will not aggro that second dog. And what I wanted the first dog with the dog collar to do was to pounce on me. Because that's the only way that you will actually stab the dog with the dagger, which costs about 4 bullets worth of damage. And here's our first Crimson Head, and he'll be our only one. Now, quick shooting. I forgot about that for just a second. Normally, the gun has a fairly slow fire rate, but there's a 1 frame window where if you push the fire button again, you will fire again in a more rapid succession. So you'll be able to squeeze 3 bullets in where you could fit 2 instead. Another thing about this run is that we're going to keep a lot of items as is when we pick them up, instead of going ahead and using them. Because when you go into the menu, it's slower, and we want to open up the menu as little as possible. In addition to that, one of the hallmarks of the Resident Evil franchise, as people know, are item boxes. In this run, we will only be visiting the item box twice. Now this hallway has become what is affectionately known as the Murder Hall. And hopefully, you'll be able to find out why. Okay, so the bald zombie was in a really good spot for me there. And he was in a good spot. I have no idea. Oh my God. Because usually that bald zombie can be body blocking you from getting away from the Crimson Head. And then the other one could choose to not lunge at you or be facing you in such a way that you can't get around him immediately. And you have that Crimson Head just breathing down your neck the entire way there. So that was some really good RNG. And now we're going to pick up, quite frankly, the most broken weapon in the game aside from the Barry's Magnum and the rocket launcher. And that's the grenade launcher. And so now we're actually going to go and meet one of the members of STAR's Bravo team who we're here to find. His name's Richard. If we fulfill some conditions, we get his shotgun. It's a really nice shotgun, but we don't want it because we don't really need it. And Richard is just beyond the store. We're not going to see him, but he's been bitten by a snake and poisoned, so we need to go find some serum in order to heal him up. And the serum is conveniently on the other side of the mansion. Oh, and another thing that was introduced in this game is called alternate controls. I have cursed alternate controls many a time. Traditional Resident Evil controls are colloquially called tank controls, where if you push forward, your character moves forward where your character is facing. Whereas alternate controls will allow for much quicker movements like right now. But because it is relative to where the camera is facing, not where your character is facing. Now, right there, the alternate controls were finicky because I made a camera transition, and when you make camera transitions in either from between doors or between these here, the controls can just reset and send you off in a completely different direction you didn't want to go. I have gone between two different camera angles many times. And for marathon safety, we'll just go ahead and pick up some more defensive items because I want to heal as little as possible. And not to mention, that was also an item that I'm not bending over to pick up. And so that saves a little bit of time that it just goes straight to the menu for me to ask where I pick up or not. And there's where we use our little plant killer. And here is one of 4 death masks that we'll be getting before leaving Mansion 1. Another thing I'll point out is that currently, the current meta for the game is to run it in traditional Chinese. Traditional Chinese wasn't patched into the game until about a month ago, maybe a little over a month ago. It was one of the strangest things when it just started updating and added Chinese, and lo and behold, it's faster. However, another weird thing is that I don't think it's actually available in the EU yet. It's available everywhere else to download. Because I'm playing on the US version, you can pick Japanese, Chinese as your subtitles because the text scrolls a lot faster than the English subtitles do. And since we have the serum, we're going back to Richard. And since it's been less than 5 minutes since we spoke to him, we have saved Richard from being poisoned to death. if you take in excess of 5 minutes, or maybe it's about 6 minutes, Richard will die. And then you cannot get his assault shotgun anymore for the entire run. This is going to be a little bit of a tricky dodge that's coming up right here. I don't know what's going on here. Apparently I'm playing it out of my mind right now. So we just got some music notes. I was surprised to talk about the other campaign, shouldn't I? So Jill is one of 2 characters to play as. The other is Chris. Chris has some advantages. He has more health than Jill does. He runs faster. If you plan on doing a knife-only run, he swings the knife faster and does more damage with the knife as well. However, Chris has 2 less inventory slots. He cannot play the piano. He also cannot open up doors with simple lock mechanisms, whereas Jill has a lockpick that just automatically breezes right through them. So most people would say that Jill is the easier campaign. That's actually how it was listed in the original Resident Evil, was that Jill was easy and Chris was hard. In reality, Chris isn't actually that much harder. It's just you have to do a few extra steps for things. Did get that bait there off, but had the taser. I rather would use the taser on something else later on in the run, but you only have to push that bookcase once to pick up the music note cover. Although I'm not sure why you would need to cover the music notes in order to play the music notes. And here we're just swapping out the emblems because we need the gold emblem to go back to where we pick up the wood emblem all the way at the beginning of the run. Oh, just checking out the picture of Castle Neuschwanstein over there. Just gotta appreciate the arts. It's a pretty simple puzzle. The solution is on the painting to the left, where the short sword is through the guy's armor and the long sword is through his head, as you can see over there. And so you just match the minute hand and the hour hand to the helmet and shield accordingly. And behind here is going to be the shield key. It only opens one door, and it's to an attic where we'll find our second death mask. Just beyond where we found Richard, too. Now, if my RE5 partner is watching, I am not going to attempt how you do it. We're going to do the... Oh my god, Yawn is following me. Yawn is a very large snake that we're about to encounter. Also, if you hold up when you're trying to discard a key, it may go to no. And as you can imagine, inventory is at a premium in this game, so you do not want to mess up that. So Jan's hot on our tail. Okay, good. We're good now. We're in the clear. So the way to get Richard's shotgun is to stay in there and deal deal a certain amount of damage to Yon. Now, whatever damage you deal to Yon matters nothing for later on because you will fight him and kill him later. So if you just pump like 20 shotgun rounds into him, doesn't matter. You'll still have to do the exact same amount of damage as you would later on. Took a bad angle there. It's fine because it's 2 bites to go into orange caution. Orange caution, you'll run a little bit slower as if you had like a gun equipped. So you want to stay in fine or yellow as much as possible, preferably in fine. I'll fully admit, those portraits mean nothing to me. It's been a long time since I actually figured out how you're supposed to know how to figure this puzzle out. I just know the solution. I even think when I did my first casual run, I just pushed things randomly until I got it right. We're gonna be making our first grenade pickup of hopefully 2 this run. Barry's left us a care package in this room consisting of a first aid spray, which I think we're picking up. Nope. These incendiary rounds. There are 6 of them. We need to use all 6 of them on target. If we whiff one, then that's going to throw the entire game plan off, which means we'll have to pick up additional explosive rounds. This puzzle in here, you kind of have to, there's some accessories that it specifically calls out. One like red, one orange, one green, or no, one purple. I forget the colors. But the painting at the end has those accessories and you gotta match those colors. And we're coming up on our first boss, but first we gotta put the death mask in. When you have the death mask, those zombies that are here, they're no longer here. They don't exist anymore. They just vanish. And if you do kill those zombies, they cannot turn into crimson heads. Now this third death mask, for whatever reason, is very finicky to put on. You have to be almost exact when you're looking at this pedestal. I did not get it. Okay. Just very, very minutely off. We're gonna load the incendiary rounds in and equip the grenade launcher to fight Crimson Elder, our first boss. Run up to him, but perfect. And while he's burning, we're just gonna pick up the stone and metal object. This is going to allow us to go access the back. Where we're gonna find quite possibly one of the worst programmed enemies in this game. I'll talk more about her when she comes up. One more zombie. There's gonna be a dog right behind us. But we're not gonna worry about him. For the most part, you're just gonna be running right by all the enemies in this game. You treat them as obstacles. You don't waste any ammo trying to kill them or anything like that. That was Brad. He's our helicopter pilot. He's the guy who left us here for dead in the opening cutscene that we skipped.
It's okay. He'll get what's coming to him in Resident Evil 3.
Yes, he does die, very much so in Resident Evil 3. You do see his shambling corpse in Resident Evil 2. I can't remember the stipulation for it, though. I think you have to go there without firing a bullet. Or without healing. I can't remember. Oh my god. It's been a while.
We got a donation in.
Oh. Let's hear it.
Well, we have a $20 donation by Josh the Typist.
Oh, Lord.
And he says, already learning way more about the game than I knew before. Thumbs up.
Pretty sure that's my raid leader in another game I play. So this is Lisa's cabin. Probably one of my least favorite enemies in this game that was not in the original game.
Were you about to say you play World of Warcraft?
No, no, it's not WoW. It's Final Fantasy 14.
Oh, that's good. That's a good MMO.
Yeah. And that was our last item box trip. So this is Lisa. She's the daughter of the architect who made this Spencer estate, or who designed it. And this is an unskippable cutscene. It has some really weird camera angles. Like, it's only going to show like the top of Jill's face. Like the framing is just very strange there.
Yeah, that boss freaked me out.
Oh, she does. Your second encounter with her freaks me out a lot.
In the cave, right?
Yes.
Oh my god. And isn't she like the daughter and the mother fused together or something?
No.
Or something like that. Wasn't there some notes about her parents?
Yes, she is wearing her mother's face.
Yes. That's, yeah.
But the bad thing about that enemy is you saw that swing animation where she swung from down right up. That hitbox around her hands is active for an incredibly long time. Like after the swing and she's going to a neutral pose, that hitbox is still active. So if you walk into her hands as she's returning to that neutral position, you will still get hit and take full damage. And it's the most ridiculous thing, especially if you just get a little too antsy on a run and you just run into her because you're used to running into zombies after they've done their lunge. And it can get very frustrating. And for safety's sake, I'm gonna pick up this first aid spray and this battery pack. Normally, you wouldn't want to pick up defensive items because you shouldn't need them ideally, but we're going to do that anyway. As Brad again, he'll call us like 3 or 4 times. Missed the hitbox there. we're gonna be coming up to the guardhouse now. The guardhouse is one big area only to get the helmet key. The helmet key is gonna allow us to go further into the mansion and allow us to get a few other things. Allow us to kill Yawn and get some medals so that we can access the lab later on. The snakes here aren't bad. They just fall down. On the return trip back through that area where I used the crank, though, there'll be 3 snakes poised and ready to strike at you. And when they bite you, there's probably about a 20% chance that they will poison you. And when you're poisoned, you run as if you are in orange caution. I'm also sorry for those of you who don't like spiders. Oh, are they? All right. So that tentacle right there is part of Plant 42. You can avoid it by pushing that box I ran around, but since we want to go fast, we're just gonna take the chip damage that it does.
Big shout out to my colleague Shokushu, which actually means tentacle in Japanese.
Oh, does it? Okay.
It does.
Now I have something I can shout while I'm getting grabbed by it. Shokushu.
You need to create a split now. When you get hit by that, slam it.
There's gonna be 3 of them though. We're gonna get hit by it 3 times.
Oh.
Yeah. Because now there was a door that was locked earlier. We got the key to open that door, and then we're gonna get a key from there to go back into the place we just left.
So Shokushu Part 2, and Shokushu the final chapter.
Yes. Exactly.
Oh yeah, we got a franchise, boys.
I would watch that.
Let's put up a trailer. Let's set up a pitch. Let's do it.
Who's gonna be the director?
Good question.
The question is, do we want to actually make it good, or do we want to make it one of those it's so bad it's good movies?
I mean, if I could get Takashi Miike to direct it, then I would do it.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I'd cast my vote for Neil Breen, but I'm just one of those guys who's like, let's just watch a ridiculous train wreck.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Actually, since when the whole horror thing is going on, have you seen the original Feast?
No, I have not.
You should watch it. 2 and 3 are garbage, but the first one's actually pretty good. And I mean, I would get whoever directed that.
All right. I'll have to watch it then.
Yeah, no, I highly recommend it.
Feast. I hope it's on Netflix. Maybe. So while we were in the bathroom screwing around, though, a zombie popped. Oh my god. I have never seen that happen before. I took a bad angle. So was I just running up against those bookcases for fun? There's a little ledge. It's like a pixel window where you can push that right bookcase to the right without having to push the bookcase on the left back before pushing that one on the right. But if you don't get it right away, then there's no real point in trying for it. And now we're just pushing some boxes. I still don't understand. These boxes seem like they're incredibly heavy, and yet they float. I mean, Resident Evil logic is probably the only reason I can come up with, because this game doesn't really have much logic, especially when we're talking about like Resident Evil 5 and beyond.
I mean, does it advance progression? If yes, ignore physics.
That's true. But then we have the boulder punching Chris in RE5.
Oh yeah, that is. Yes. I forgot about that.
Yes. I will never forget, especially considering I run Resident Evil 5. It's one of the games. Although I won't run it solo anymore. It's
Well, I mean, dude, he beats that boulder up like it owes him money.
yeah, he does. He really does. And it just makes no sense because an even pressure would make it move, not just punching it. So we're in the Aqua Ring, one of the most baffling parts of the entire mansion, in my opinion, because sharks. Because why not, I guess.
Well, I mean, it's pretty much taking all of the staples of horror from back in the day and making something out of it.
Yeah.
In the first one, they really took a little bit of everything. Romero and Jaws, and then, you know, the whole plant thing.
Now right there is an inner ring you'd want to go into, but since I've taken a little bit too much damage, I didn't want to risk getting bit by a shark so that I have to heal. I want to save that first aid spray for as long as I possibly can. And I checked the whiteboard here. This is the one puzzle in the entire game. Well, it's not really a puzzle, but it's the one place that actually has a different solution, or it can have a different solution. Because you're gonna come here and there's an oil pressure failure for these shutters, and then you have to go over here and then hit a valve. You might not have seen it, but there was a one in all that jumbled Japanese, or not Japanese, Chinese, when I was checking that whiteboard. And you have to just scan the middle right there, the middle of the bottom text to find which number you're looking for. And of course, one thing that has always kind of bugged me a little bit is, why do these shutters need to be closed in order to drain the Aqua Ring? Like, shouldn't you be able to just drain it regardless?
You needed to put some plot armor on those windows.
Yeah, right? I mean, everything else has plot armor in this game.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, mostly Barry.
Oh, Barry.
Oh, Barry.
Yeah, Barry's not gonna have a good time tonight. Just by the way. So this is Neptune. Neptune is the big bad shark. Normally, what you would do is turn the power on and push that little console into the water, but it's all you need to do is just jump in, turn 90 degrees to the left and run forward, pick up the key, and then run out. There is no need at all to kill Neptune.
So you saved the animals.
For now, because there is a snake that we will have to kill.
Okay, okay.
Save the sharks. We saved the sharks.
That could be the incentive for a marathon run, though. Save or kill Neptune.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously, it could be. Only in this case, killing Neptune kills the frames.
Yes, it does.
It's the opposite.
And frames are good.
Frames are good.
We like the frames to be saved.
But if we save the animals, we save the frames. So people are going to be confused about it.
So, kill both or save both, I guess. All right, we're coming back up to the, probably one of the more sketchy dodges, in my opinion, because you're in this really claustrophobic area with that zombie that I tasered earlier, which is why I wanted to keep that taser.
We do have a very sound observation in chat from Horse of the Sea. And they say that the sharks don't have freaking laser beams attached to their heads.
Well, we're not in Dr. Evil's mansion now, are we? We're in the Spencer estate.
But it is Resident Evil.
That's true. But has there been something with a laser beam attached to its head in a Resident Evil franchise? I'm sure there has been.
Yeah, there has been for sure.
I just can't remember where.
I don't know if... Does Alexia count?
That's,
In Code Veronica?
I'm not entirely sure. But right now, we just picked up some insecticide, so we are absolutely killing some animals right now.
Ooh.
We gotta move this map out of the way. And then we're gonna spray this hive because it's guarding a key. This is another RNG portion of the game. Those bees can die almost instantly when you spray it, or they could be like that. Just dropping off one by one, slowly just eating up time because they hate you. And we're coming up to Plant 42, our second boss fight of the game. We're gonna raid.
Can you imagine this song playing right now? Katy Perry's Fireworks, as you kill the tyrant in the final cutscene.
That'd be pretty nice.
That would have been perfect.
It would have been pretty nice, honestly.
Yeah.
We're gonna make a little picture here. Mature stream, guys. So Plant 42 could be kind of a little bit of a, you know, pain, but if you position just right around here, get 2 shots off, and then get your third before he closes, and that's a pretty perfect Plant 42 right there.
I guess that plant didn't have the answer to life, the universe, and everything.
No, it did not. Shout out to Hitchhiker's Guide.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, since you're skipping all the cutscenes, I mean, I'm going to take care of the cheesy one-liners.
Oh, yes, please do. Please do. I love cheesy one-liners.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Commando is like one of my favorite movies, and that's nothing but cheesy one-liners.
Blow off some steam.
Oh my God, I love that you know that. I think that's also the one where he throws the knife and it like impales him onto the wall, and he just goes, "Stick around."
Yeah, something like, yeah. Last Action Hero is also wonderful for all the one-liners.
Oh, it is. It absolutely is. And so now that Plant 42 is gone, we don't get grabbed by that tentacle. That's right. That was right there. And as we're heading out, we're not going to get rained on by snakes this time. But Brad will give us a call right here. But we're going to ignore him because we don't really need to talk to him right now. And the crows have been replaced by dogs. But the dogs are not really much of an issue. They never really have been. The only dogs that are much of an issue are the ones with the collar. And that's just because you have to kill them.
Those are not good boys.
No, no, they are not.
Very bad doggos.
Now up here is where the 3 snakes will be that can get you, because they're ready to lunge at you, and you gotta take a nice, so I took a bad line there, and he did bite me, but fortunately...
No poison status.
Yes, fortunately RNGesus has smiled upon me for now, and not given me poison. And we're heading back.
I'm guessing you are bulletproof, as it were.
Not even a little. Dog trying to get me to play with him by grabbing my wrist and tugging at me. See, Barry left us a care package right there. but we don't need any of those items right now. If I had to use more explosive or an explosive round on Plant 42 by either whiffing on either him or Crimson Elder, then I would have picked those explosive rounds up. And now we're gonna meet hunters. Hunters you can generally run right by, and this right here has been a bit of a sore point for me in runs, so I'm gonna hopefully get this on the first try.
Oh.
See, if you're too slow, they can body block you. And just for safety, I'm gonna go ahead and kill them. One thing that's really annoying about hunters is that when you are in yellow caution or lower, they have a move that will instantly kill you.
Yeah, you really don't want to lose your head over this.
Yes, it is a decap. I even had a run before when I was practicing where I got body blocked just like that, put into yellow caution. I healed up, but right before I entered the menu, the hunter
animation started.
Yeah, the animation was starting with the hunter, and he decapped me when I was on the stairs. And see, this is where my tinfoil hat comes in. They have not been that aggressive before the Chinese patch. I feel like so many things have been different, but maybe it's just because I kind of took a break from the game before. So it could be a combination of those things, but I still feel like they're more aggressive.
That is putting a lot of trust in that statue.
It is. I personally can't imagine it being all that sturdy.
Yeah, same here.
And since we're in yellow caution, I'm gonna go ahead and pick this up because there's a lot of iffy dodges in this basement as well. And I don't exactly want to be put into orange caution again. This right here is, I can never remember his first name. I think it's Trevor Spencer's grave. I don't think his body is actually there, and why there's a gravestone on the second floor of the mansion for him is kind of beyond my understanding, but you know, Resident Evil.
Oh, Spencer, he's the
designer. Oh,
yeah,
no,
the designer of the mansion.
Yes. That was the iffy dodge right there. We're turning power onto an elevator that we didn't really look at earlier.
Isn't he the founder of Umbrella?
Oh yeah, sorry, it's not Spencer, it's wait, no, Spencer is the founder of Umbrella.
Exactly.
It's Trevor was the last name of the designer, but yes. Oswald Spencer is the founder.
Exactly.
Yes.
I believe that's who we see in Resident Evil 0.
Yes.
The one with the leeches, I think
is.
that's him.
It is him. But that room is a sword key room. And since we didn't use the sword key to enter it, that's why we dumped that sword key off later in the item box when we first went to it, because we don't need to open that because we're just gonna go in through that back way. Right here, just run right by that zombie, and we're gonna pick up the elevator battery that's gonna allow us to enter into the caves.
Perfect. Also, is George Trevor the name you're looking for?
Yes.
Oh, Miguel, as in Mike, gave us the tip in chat.
Thank you so much. I forget sometimes, and I'm going back in here because I killed those hunters that I wasn't supposed to, and so I'm going to be picking up some acid rounds because I cannot kill Jan with 3 explosive rounds. Normally what you're supposed to do is kill Jan with 5 explosive rounds. You would shoot him 4 times before going down the ladder, and then your 5th time when you get down. But we're gonna revert back to some old strats by picking up those acid rounds. And here's a little bit dicey. And that's why I picked up that knife. So two pretty decent murder halls. I like my first one a little bit better because I didn't get grabbed. That bald zombie can spawn right in front of that Crimson Elder as well on that second visit to the murder hall. And the Crimson Elder doesn't care what's in front of him. He will swipe at whatever's in front of him. So he will take out a zombie before you. And now we get our second look at Yawn. With acid routes, you only need to shoot him 4 times. So we are going to shoot him 3 times on top, and then we're going to shoot him 1 more time down here. I'm going to do something a little counterintuitive. I'm going to fire off the remaining acid rounds because I do not want to enter the item box again. Because if I keep these acid rounds, then I would have to enter the item box again. And now we're going to pick up one of the items that we need to enter into the lab, or the second item, because the red book contains the Eagle medallion. That is one of the 2 medallions that's required to enter the lab. And we'll be entering into the murder hall again for the 3rd and final time. But it's actually my favorite trip into the murder hall because unless you just completely and utterly flub it, there is no chance at getting bit. You're just gonna run up, round the corner, and go through the door. It looks a little scary, and I clenched a good bit the first few times I went through there, but you get used to it. And now we're gonna pick up the red jewel through by turning off these lights, and we're gonna pick up our explosive rounds. And the reason why we're doing these explosive rounds is because the old strats used a knife to cut the webbing in Black Tiger's den, but with the grenade launcher, we can cut through those webbings faster than we can with a knife, because one of the techniques that you're going to do with the grenade launcher and that you can do with the shotgun is called pump canceling. Pump canceling is when you're just canceling the pump animation and you can fire the grenade and shotgun faster than what you would normally. And it's definitely a lot easier to pull off than the quick shots on a pistol, because you'll aim, fire, release, aim, and hold up on the directional pad. Wait till you see your character kind of go forward just a little bit, and then you re-aim and fire again. And that completely skips the pump animation. It's more noticeable when you do it with the shotgun, but you can definitely feel the difference when you do it with the grenade launcher, because how I did Plant 42 earlier, I would not have been able to get those 2 shots off in such quick succession if I had not pump canceled. And similar with Yawn up there in the balcony, I would not have been able to get 3 shots on him without getting hit before the ladder without pump canceling. Now, if I was using explosive rounds, I would have used 4 shots, but I didn't need to use 4 shots with the acid rounds. And now what we're doing is running back through the garden house, and we're going to be going into the caves next. The caves are kind of scary because you'll see Black Tiger. Black Tiger is can be kind of a jackass in runs, honestly. But for the most part, you just gotta pray you get a really good pattern with him. And also, any hunter we're gonna see now, we're gonna run right by that, and they will not pose us much of a threat at all. The only hunters that are really much of an issue are the ones in the east stairwell because of the way they body block you. rather can body block you. I also can't tell you how many times I have gone to that crank room, or the crank up here, and prematurely filled in the water so I couldn't cross over to go put the battery in. When I was first learning the run, it was quite interesting. But this will be our last encounter with snakes that can actually get to us. We just gotta hug this wall and avoid all the three that are coiled up ready to try and bite us. We can still get poisoned later though by Black Tiger. And of course I'm saying Black Tiger so people know what I'm talking about, so maybe you do know what I'm talking about, maybe you don't. Some of the item hitboxes in the game can be a little bit finicky, just a little bit. And so now that we have a way back down there, we can stop that waterfall that we had just earlier so that we can go into the caves.
My favorite part.
Is it now?
Not really.
We won't get to see your favorite mother face-wearing chick for a little bit, though.
Okay, gotcha.
Because we'll see a big, ugly spider first. And Enrico.
All right.
Enrico being the leader of the Bravo team that we're trying to find.
Yep.
Bad luck there with the dog. If you're gonna want them to attack you, you want them to like do a torpedo move at you because it staggers you for very little time. And there's gonna be a dog right in front of me. And so if you just kind of like run up to his butt and then wait just 2 seconds, they always take a very wide arc to try to get behind them. Like they will not turn around on a dime like a zombie would. So if you just let them try to run around you, you could just run right by them when they start turning. Oh, they got Mr. Brightside going now.
Yep.
And now they ruined it.
Yep.
So when we find Enrico here, this is where we actually first start hearing of a betrayer in Stars. We don't know who, but we do know that he's the one who just killed Enrico. That hunter, like the one that we ran past earlier, he just jumps out at you, screams at you a little bit, and you just say, "Oh, that's cute," and you just run by him. There's gonna be 2 in here. Hopefully they behave, because the one that's off screen can be a little flinch-worthy. Yeah, that got me a little bit. So we have 2 cranks now. The green one is the square crank, and now we have the octo crank, which is this orange handled one, which is what we'll be using now. And now about to do the probably one of the worst puzzles in the game, or least favorite of any speedrunner. The pieces come out in the same order, but their orientation is always random. Okay, good. That wasn't too bad. We're gonna go ahead and pick up this green herb because Black Tiger's probably going to lunge at us. As she has been very recently. And now we're gonna be Indiana Jones for a second.
Da, 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 da.
Appreciate that.
I had to.
If you looked at where her feet were when I was trying to round that corner, there's a little outcropping. If you try to turn a little bit too quickly, you will get caught there, and then you will die.
Ooh.
Yeah, it can be a little fun where you're trying to get there. So Black Tiger has 2 attacks. One is a lunge. The other is that. So hopefully. Okay, good. I've not seen that. So when you see the abdomen rumbling is when Black Tiger will spit acid.
Well, that's not a tiger.
But that's just what it's called.
But I mean, Resident Evil logic. It's fine.
Yes, Resident Evil logic. Many things could just be dismissed as Resident Evil logic. But if Black Tiger lunges at you, it knocks you well across the room and wastes a lot of time because you're just in this fairly long recoil animation. And also, another thing to note is you also want them to acid spit, because if they acid spit at the webbing, it helps you cut the webbing. So it means one less shot that you need to do on the door, but it can poison you.
But you have to kill it.
You do not. No, you do not have to kill Black Tiger. It's the one boss in the game you do not have to kill.
Once again, we're saving the animals.
Yeah, indeed.
And saving frames.
Here you just push the statue 4 times so that you can get it pushed out. You don't need to retract the little wall. You just come over here and you can just push it off. This is probably one of my least favorite parts when I was playing this game casually, because as you can see, the statue spins when you push it on that little dais. Now if Jill stands on that dais, she will just stand there and let herself be spun. It doesn't make much sense to me why you just stand there and just let yourself be spun. You could just step off. Hope they left enough room.
Very ominous music. You know,
Yeah.
something's going down. You don't know what.
I didn't push it. I pushed it a little far to the right. I'm just gonna correct this here real quick. I'm gonna pick up the cylinder, or the ring, that we're gonna use to power an elevator. Weirdly, Resident Evil logic.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's like this little cylinder that you just push in this thing and you push a code.
By the way, since I was joking about saving the animals earlier, Save the Animals is actually ahead at 63.69, and Kill is behind with 27.77.
Oh, come on, guys. We gotta get that kill up.
And in Brawl, Save Peach or Zelda. Peach is ahead with $15, 1.5, and Zelda is lagging behind with only $2.
So Black Tiger was actually just really kind to me there, again, because as you're running in front of them, they can lunge at you and then knock you all the way across the room. Or they can try to poison you like they just tried to do, or raise their legs and just stare at you and wave.
That's just weird.
Yeah, maybe they're just being really nice for some reason. I don't know why.
They're probably Canadian.
Canadians are nice, I have found.
I don't know about that, eh?
So right there, you just run behind that hunter. They can't catch up to you because their priority, for whatever reason, is just to roar at you. And I do have 8 inventory slots open up, or full, so I have to use that herb. We just combine these two, put it back in, and we put the code in. You find the code by twisting the ring around the cylinder, and it's just in Roman numerals 4231. One thing that was added in this game was just examining items and then using them to do other things like the arrowhead earlier and getting the key out of the book. So Capcom really likes that mechanic a lot. We had a death mask that we had to examine a box twice to do it. And then there's some first aid kits, which is this is the only place that you'll ever find first aid kits in the Resident Evil game.
Oh, there she is.
Yes, there she is.
You turned me apart, Lisa.
Now, if you have issues dodging Lisa, if you want, what you can do is peek your head on the opposite side of where you want to go, because she will spawn where you first zone in. So like there's always going to be like a branching path. So if you go to the left, she'll spawn to the left. If you go to the right, she'll spawn to the right. I swear the box was on there. Just sometimes you have to push it multiple times. Don't know why. It's clearly on there. I didn't need to do anything else. I just kept mashing the button and it just finally went through. And we have to dodge Lisa 2 more times in this area. I had to wait there for a very long time because I just did not want to get hit by those hands. Because those hitboxes just stay for far, far too long.
That's right. Also, DD Gaming said something in chat, and I just want to know what your thought on this is.
Okay.
So he says, we're ending the day with a horror game. Let's get that total to 666.
Let's go for it.
We're almost there. We're at 632.66.
Man, open up those wallets, guys. That would be great.
Oh, yeah.
We're ending tomorrow with Amnesia too, right?
That's right.
Nice. I've never played Amnesia. Kind of want to.
I've played it. Can't remember any of it.
I see what you did there. So we're picking up this broken flamethrower because, yet again, Resident Evil logic is going to act as a key for us. Don't know why, it just does. Now, Chris actually gets to use a functional flamethrower. He would be able to use it as a weapon to cut Black Tiger's webbing, so he can get through Black Tiger really, really quickly. But he can't use the grenade launcher. Same thing with Jill. Jill does use a flamethrower, but can't use the grenade launcher. So, in addition to having all those different stats as before, they have exclusive weapons.
Well, you know, in today's market, specialization is how you build a successful career, so they had to make a choice.
It's true.
Either you burn stuff up or you blow stuff up. You can do both. Well, technically, Jill has incendiary rounds, but...
Yes. If you did use incendiary rounds on a regular zombie, they would burn and they would not turn into a crimson head. And you can also still shoot the bodies when they're on the ground, even if you didn't kill them with the incendiary rounds. I was supposed to also mention the lockpick is like Jill's exclusive item, whereas Chris's is the lighter. It's not very useful in a speedrun because the only thing you use it for is to light those candles for the music sheets, and that's it. Because you never pick up the fuel canteen when you're doing a run. And it's usually a waste of time to do it anyway because you don't want to kill anything because ammo conservation is #1 priority in a game like this.
By the way, we have a donation.
Oh, let's hear it.
We have Twanman who donated $5.66, who says, Dagger, you say go dogs, and yet what's with this hostility towards those sweet puppers? For shame.
All right, so I guess I don't know if it can be seen, but I'm wearing a UGA jacket. So I graduated from University of Georgia, so I do say go dogs. So we do not say roll tide there, Twan man. Just run right by this zombie. It looks a little scary, but it's fine. Plus, these dogs are Dobermans, and they're undead. So they're definitely bad dogs.
I would have to agree with that.
Yes. Exactly. And now we're about to enter into the lab, but first we need to pick up the stone and metal object that we use to open this door right here, because we need 2 of them in order to open up the door to get to the lab. And your favorite person is going to be in our way to get to the lab. Lisa.
Yeah. Well, right before that, we've had a $20 donation by Mad Maxine, who says,
Oh, God.
This donation is for my main man, Dagger. Good luck finishing out the run strong. So we're only $14 away from having all 6s on the donation counter.
Nice. Thank you, Max. I did not mean to try to look at those shotgun rounds, and I'm going to pick these up.
You were tempted, admit it. You were looking at those rounds and you're
I wanted to look fondly at them because the assault shotgun is actually a much more satisfying weapon to use than the grenade launcher. But we're done with the grenade launcher for now. Well, and by for now, I mean for the rest of the run, because we don't need to use it for anything else.
Can you shoot that crow right there?
I would rather not, because it would aggro the rest of them.
You got a grenade launcher, man. They're birds. Come on.
Have you tried to shoot the crows?
Not really.
It's not a good time. You would feel the sins go down, shiver down your spine.
Now that I think about it, I just remembered Hitchcock's movie, Birds, so.
Sounds like they really wanted to pay homage to everything.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm not kidding. This is a love letter to all things Western horror movies.
Nice.
And Lisa wearing her mother's face is clearly a Leatherface reference.
I really never thought about all those things when I was playing this game for casually.
Me neither, but I get to sit back and just observe everything, so.
Yes.
I actually have time to think about these useless facts.
You do have the enviable task of just sitting back and watching, don't you?
That's right.
All right, so this is our final encounter with Lisa. And it's going to be where Barry's going to start to have a bad time. It's a stair skate down these stairs. Or as they call it, stair stumbling, because I can't mash the action button fast enough. Some of the top runners make them look like they're just literally gliding down the stairs. So hopefully Lisa behaves for us, because we will not give Barry his Magnum back. Pick up his Magnum. And that's going to be our gun for the rest of the game. Hopefully push this once. Perfect. So now that we've knocked her off, all we have to do now is push these. And we skip the cutscene of her reaching into this coffin, because this is where her mother is buried, and just going, "Mother!" and then grabbing it, and then falling off anyway. And also, when I played this game casually, I never knew you can knock her off, ever. And it's one of my favorite parts now, is shooting her off. And it takes 3 rounds to shoot her off, and thankfully, I want to kill 3 different things in the lab. And here's that little mechanic again of where you examine something to retrieve the item that you actually need.
It was actually first introduced in Code Veronica.
Oh, this one?
The mechanic, yeah, where you examine objects.
Oh, it's been a long time.
Yeah.
I feel like this was the first time it happened, but I'm wrong. I stand corrected. My apologies.
Not needed. Oh, man. Somebody just wrecked us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, went right over it.
How'd they wreck you? Or us?
We're at 680.66.
Oh,
no. Actually, you know, the road to hell is paved with the good intentions of people. And 2 of them donated 14 at the same time, so we skipped right past it.
RIP.
We have 2 $14 donations, as it were. One is anonymous that says, "Hail Stan." I don't know who Stan is, but all right. Do you know Stan? Anyone know Stan?
I think it's supposed to say Satan, or maybe it might
No,
just
it's
be...
Stan. It's written
Okay.
Stan.
Oh. Stan
I know it's probably a
Marsh?
typo, but I'm just going to roll with it. And we have Naram Gamjan, who donated $14 as well, and says, 666, the number of the beast.
So we killed that zombie because later on we're going to be doing a nitro run. We're going to be transporting some highly volatile liquids. Give me just 2 seconds.
What's the password again?
Ada.
Ada. Oh. Aha, foreshadowing.
Yes. Accidentally hit T there for a second. And the password there was cell.
John is Ada's husband that dies in the first one or something. Was that it?
I think just boyfriend, girlfriend there.
Or something, yeah.
But yes, Ada is Ada Wong that is found in Resident Evil 2, 4, 6.
Well, doesn't she make an appearance in 5? No, she doesn't.
No, she does
She's
not.
referenced in one of the notes, but...
I believe so, yes. Because, I mean, Leon's not in it, so...
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, if Leon's in the game, Ada's in the game.
That's for sure.
But we find out all those passwords through this X-ray room where you arrange some X-rays and then turn on a red light to figure out cell. This one you find from a film that you have to put in the projection right here. I could be wrong though, because it's one of those things, it's been so long, I just remember this. But there's gonna be a nitro run later where we're gonna be transporting some nitroglycerin, and I'm just killing the most problematic enemies. I guess I forgot to also mention, when you're on a different Z-axis as a zombie, and you get close to them, they will not grab you. Instead, they will try to throw up at you, and that would be their move that they do. And you want them to throw up because you usually just run out right on by. It poses very little threat to you.
Seems legit.
Ah. Did not mean to get grabbed by him. I can usually get there fast enough to where I can just go right on by and not get grabbed. And this is going to be our other enemy. Good.
Oh yeah, those guys.
Yes, chimeras. They're only going to be showing up here in the lab. They're not necessarily that irritating, but that one right there is right in the way of your nitro run, and I don't want to try to deal with him because when you're grabbed by an enemy with the nitro, you have a 20% chance of blowing up. And if you blow up, it's game over. That's the finickiness of the alternate controls. Just trying to change directions really quickly, and it just turns you very sharply. There's gonna be a naked zombie in here. I'm gonna take a nice safe strat or safe route and go ahead and use one of our grenades just to kill him, just get him out of my way. Usually I would just try to bait him or use that taser I used earlier. But since that was used, just go ahead and take the normal way.
By the way, I just want to point out that we're almost halfway through our initial goal of $1,500 for the National Multiple Sclerosis Society for the Georgia chapter. So this is beyond what we were expecting for day one. So thanks to everyone who's donated. And I mean, if we can make it to the halfway mark at 750 before the end of the run, that would be godlike. So keep them coming, and thank you, everyone.
Yes, thank you so much for being very generous. So with this Nitro run, the general rule of thumb is run 3 steps, walk 3 steps. Because if you run more times than you should, you'll blow up. Another thing about it is that the count does not reset in between doors. So if you ran, like, let's say 2 steps before a door, and you run 2 more steps, you will blow up. I'm just trying to take it as safe and as slow as possible. And now I would probably, no, I'm not gonna say it. I don't want to jinx myself. Now that the Nitro's there, we're gonna turn the reactor on, which opens up the elevator to go down to visit Tyrant. Which Wesker believes is like this ultimate specimen. Spoiler alert, Wesker's the betrayer, not Barry. Because it's kind of set up to look like it's Barry for a little bit.
Nah, the sunglasses gave him away like in the first cutscene.
Yeah. Plus he's also wearing black.
That's true. And Barry's just a good guy, you know, like you can tell. Hello.
He is a good guy because he was being manipulated because his family was threatened by Wesker. And that's why he was allowing himself to be...
blackmailed.
Yes, blackmailed. That's what I was looking for. Thank you.
My pleasure.
It's been a long day. The words are not coming to me as well as I'd like.
It's quite similar to the Black Tiger, really. It's neither black nor male.
Exactly. Similarly to the death masks, as soon as the reactor's powered, the naked zombies just vanish. Like as soon as you hit a story trigger, then they just go away. There's no real explanation. They just do.
I think it's called balancing.
Perhaps.
Perhaps.
And now we're gonna see the final boss. He's not really that big of a deal. We're gonna skip 3 cutscenes, just admiring Tyrant. Shoot him once, and he's dead.
Ultimate specimen.
Exactly. And this is what boggles my mind about Barry's Magnum, is that earlier, if we had watched that cutscene where he shot that zombie, he shoots the zombie 3 times. So
is the body gone?
The zombie's the one that grabbed me outside the music room. So the zombie's still alive. And yet, Barry shot it 3 times. So how is it that we can kill anything with that gun with 1 shot, but Barry takes 3 shots to kill the most basic enemy in the game? And by kill, I mean do nothing to.
Because the Magnum has +10 plot armor penetration.
That's probably true.
That's probably what it is.
It is. It probably is. Although, of course, we didn't kill Lisa. We just knocked her off of a ledge and put her out of play.
That's true. We just benched Lisa.
If you're doing a New Game Plus run, you'd be using the rocket launcher, which makes inventory management even more laughable. And you'd also be playing on very easy. I got grabbed. That's unfortunate because that was literally the last zombie to dodge in the game. So we're going to do a nice orange caution run to the end.
All right.
Because there's no reason to pick up any healing items. There's one that you can pick up in that item chest, but the run's not going to be that much longer.
I mean, it's quite gracious of you to just go into caution mode so people have more time to donate. So we reach the 750 mark before the end of the run. I would truly appreciate it.
You're welcome. And Brad's going to give us a little call again for the last time. Because we don't need to talk to Brad. We don't like talking to Brad. And this is the most convenient item in the Resident Evil universe, because this item goes right here.
I don't get that.
I mean, I don't either. It's just 3 feet away from where it needs to go.
They ran out of time during the dev cycle or something. They're like, all right, just ship it. Just put it there. Ship the game.
All right, well, time's coming up here in just a second. The time will be when I fire the signal rockets.
All right.
That'll be right just beyond this door. You also don't even need to move for these signal rockets at all. You just use them right here. Time. Sorry, that kind of snuck up on you with that. And I'm actually going to check and see what the actual time is here.
Jill, you did a fine job.
Oh.
That's a new PB, right?
That is a new PB.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
By almost a minute, actually.
Oh, damn. Congratulations. Let's hear it. Come on, people.
I'm actually pretty happy with that. Oh, geez.
DaggerVII with a PB.
I think that puts me in like top 15 now.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's a great way to end day one.
Yes.
Of No Reset at DreamHack Atlanta 2018.
Yes.
And I just gotta say, donations were great. It was a great run. Great commentary, by the way. Honestly, so informative. It was just a pleasure to listen to you explaining all the mechanics in the game, and honestly, really enjoyed it. And that's a great run, all in all, of a great game, a classic. So thank you so much for being here with us tonight.
Thank you so much for inviting me. This was so much fun, and I will definitely be back tomorrow to watch